comparison between Lightspeed
and Bose headset.
Each of them actually have their pros and cons. It's battery powered. You can use it without the active noise cancelling. Hello from Truckee Tahoe Air Show here. Not related to an air show. A small discussion we had with Alex on the way to Truckee. It's actually about different headsets. And just full disclaimer, we are not sponsored by either of the brands, and we'll actually add a little bit more once we get home about different brands of headsets we are using at our flight school and is being used in general aviation in general. So, but here we have a comparison between Lightspeed
and Bose headset.
Yeah.
Over here.
That one. All right. So actually, from my personal experience, I used Bose headset earlier before I got my Lightspeed, and I kind of have experience a little bit with Bose. And each of them actually have their pros and cons. So both of these headsets are on the high end. They have good noise canceling, active noise canceling. So that's this guy right here. And it's battery powered for each of the headsets. The disadvantage is that you have to put the batteries in and they can fail in flight, especially if you are on a long cross country like we were down here, so 7 hours. Plan on carrying spare batteries. Now, with Lightspeed, my experience is that it's great active noise cancelling. Unfortunately, when the batteries fail, I find it's a not so good passive noise cancelling. In fact, it's a very loud headset. It does still work. You can use it without the active noise cancelling. But if I had said, say, even a basic David Clark, which I had in my private pilot license, I would have better passive noise protection with a basic, not active noise cancelling, not fancy headset than I have with Lightspeed if the batteries fail in flight and if I don't have a replacement. What's your experience, Alex?
Well, with my experience, actually the passive noise cancelling is really good. Sometimes you might even forget you don't even have it on. But the padding over here, it's really flimsy. So after even 50 hours of flight with them and taking really care of it, it was already starting to tear off. So this is my third set of pads. That's something I found a bit bad for a $1,000 headset. Other than that, I love it. The microphone is really good. I feel that it transfers my words really clearly over the radio. It has this little padding on the top. So even though it's kind of heavy, it doesn't feel uncomfortable over the time. You can
Yours is lighter than mine.
Oh, nice. Let me see. Oh, it's slightly lighter, yeah. So over the time on long cross countries, you don't get tired of having it on. It's actually pretty comfortable. But yeah, just the paddings, the quality is not the best ones. Actually, these ones are from Amazon, a lot cheaper than from Bose, but they actually worked for a longer time. So far, that worked for me.
That's great to know. So what I had with my Lightspeed, I believe I thought it had 5-year warranty, but actually it ended up having 7-year warranty.
Good.
And after about 5 years, because that's what I thought my warranty was, I contacted Lightspeed. I actually had a couple of issues. My issue was actually with the microphone. And right now you can see I can bend it and it stays there and it stays in position easily, so it doesn't move easily. I have to actually push it. My previous one wasn't tight enough and I almost had to hold it throughout COVID. I actually would slide that microphone under my mask to keep it in place. But eventually I contacted Lightspeed if they could fix it. And I sent the headset in. I had to pay for shipping, but they had really great service. So they did replace all the pads, even though they were still okay after 5 years of flying. They were not falling apart, but they put newer one. They replaced this entire part, all the cord, and that's a Kevlar cord, which I don't think Bose has, so it doesn't easily fray, and it's very sturdy. And even if you happen to jam the door over it, so it's a more long-lasting one, and you can also do all sorts of knots with it. And what I often do is here I tie it around the latch here, that it's out of the way when I'm doing aerobatics and going up and down. So this cord is really great and long lasting. And on the free service from Lightspeed, when I sent it back, I had it fully replaced. I had the microphone replaced fully and all the pads. So basically just had the outside of the headset returned to me.
That's good.
So I pretty much got a new headset once over 5 years afterwards. And that I find was one of the big differences between Lightspeed and Bose, because Lightspeed is actually focusing on aviation. They have a lot of aviation products, and this is their market. For Bose, on the other hand, for the brand, aviation is just one of their markets, but they also do other non-aviation related equipment. So they probably don't pay as much attention in terms of service. That was my experience, because when I bought my Lightspeed, that's where I was getting ready for a new headset after flying with the previous one for about 7-8 years. And I was very disappointed with my Bose headset that I contacted the company. They didn't have a good service. They didn't have a good replacement program. And even if I was to pay, they were charging quite a bit for like even the smallest parts. I ended up still paying, and I have now my old Bose headset as a backup headset, and I had to use it when I sent my Lightspeed for the service. So it's not a bad one, but in terms of service, I was more pleased with Lightspeed.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you have to deal with Bose service at any point?
So far, haven't needed anything. It was just the paddings, but it's an easy repair, and haven't had any problems. Though the quality of the noise is really good. As you mentioned, this is more like a music company, so the speakers inside are really good. When you're talking to tower, everything is really neat to the ears. I really like that point. You can also regulate how much volume you have on each side. So sometimes you might have more on the right, more on the left. You can adjust to what you want. You also have the Bluetooth. So it comes really handy. For example, if you have a communication failure, you can call the tower by your phone, but without having to remove the headset. You can do all of it
Have you
together.
used the Bluetooth on your headset?
Yeah.
Okay. How was your experience?
Really good. It connects automatically. I just have to press it and my phone will connect right away. I don't have to do anything on the phone. It is only for calls. I cannot listen to music by Bluetooth.
Yeah.
If I wanted to listen to music, I have to connect to the aux over here, and then have an extra cable to the phone. It becomes complicated. Usually I don't have that much music, but for the helpful part of a backup in case your radio fails, it is really good. I really like that, and I have used it.
Yeah. So my experience, so it looks like I have pretty much all the same functions. I have the aux cable that I can connect. I can regulate the volume each side separately. I do have the Bluetooth function. I have to say I was not too happy with the Bluetooth function usage, because first of all, it drains the battery very quickly.
Yeah.
So if I had the set of batteries, it would be like pretty much as fast as your phone would discharge when you're using it actively. So my regular flying, I would use a set of batteries maybe for between 2 and 4 weeks probably before I have to change them. If I was actively using the phone through Bluetooth, I would probably change batteries in less than a week.
Okay.
So it was draining the batteries pretty quickly, and also it was very hard to have a conversation over the phone. I was on a remote cross country, and it was surprising to me. I had reception, so I could make a phone call, but anytime there was any transmission on the radio that overrides your phone call, but the person you're talking to doesn't actually know about it, so they keep talking because for them it's a normal conversation. For me, it's interrupted. So yeah, if you have an emergency and you have to call, that's a feature to use, but it's not something that you can casually use if you fly over the mountains and have a chat with somebody on the phone, because there's always on the radio somebody reporting a position somewhere, or it's not even a call to you, but there's anyone talking on the radio that overrides your phone call, your Bluetooth, which is makes sense because you're in the plane and you're flying, but it's more of an emergency feature in my opinion rather than a constant use feature.
Yeah, that's right.
And I also had a little bit more difficulty connecting it to Bluetooth. I don't know if it's because of the headset or because of my phone, but I had to go through a few steps before it would connect to my phone and not just turning the Bluetooth on.
Well, the first time I did have to connect, took a little bit of time, but just the normal, like if you're connecting to a speaker, to a car, that you have to go into it, connect it, allow to make the calls and have information with the contacts. But after that, every time I click it on, it will automatically connect to my phone. So I find it really useful. I always have it on in any case. And in terms of batteries, I use the rechargeable ones. So I haven't really tracked how long they last. Usually it's about 3 to 4 hours. And after every flight, I recharge the ones in here and the ones for the backup.
Oh, okay.
So they are always recharged, because if not, I will be already over a lot of sets of batteries.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
using the rechargeable ones, it's been really helpful as well.
Absolutely,
And,
that makes sense. One more thing I would like to mention is the fit on the head. So as you can tell, my head is relatively small and narrow, and it's very individual for everyone, but you see this headset is a little bit wider as opposed to like clam fit on Bose. And this one on me is fairly wide. It does stay, but if I shake my head, it does come off very easily. And if I try Alex's, so it does fit on my head tighter, and it would move if I move it, but if I move about the same amount, it stays a little bit tighter. You don't want it extra tight because you don't want a headache because of your head is being squeezed, but especially with the Lightspeed, if I put it on, so, and if I'm going both active and passive noise canceling, if I'm keeping my head straight, that's what I find, I have relatively good noise canceling. But if I lift my head and I have like the sound coming from underneath, so I don't feel it's a good fit around my ears, I feel like there is a gap here. And depending how my head is positioned relative to the engine noise, I would have a different level of noise in my ears. So that's found I was something weird with this headset as opposed to Bose that I had before. But I think it's about like the personal fit and if
how much it covers the ears. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think this could be just for me or somebody with similar shape of the head, but that's a consideration. So definitely would recommend to, if you have a chance to try different brands to put on your head and see how they fit. And if you're ordering online, to check what would be the return policy if it was not fitting you, if you can return. So how does...
I have a quick question. I saw you have something on the bottom here for your headsets.
So these are so I can show it closer to the camera. So these are chin straps, and I can just slide them over. It's basically a rubber strap that goes around the earmuff. I have to stretch it a little bit to keep it in place, and I put the same on both sides, and there's a Velcro here. So that's basically for exactly those situations that I just showed when I fly aerobatics, and you will see it on the dash camera after the flight. So I would have the headset tight here on my head, and now like even if I'm going upside down, I can make it like really tight. Oh, here. Really tight. I don't want it to choke me, but yeah, basically like I can go in either direction and upside down and it stays. And I do need it for air shows, for any aerobatics really, because I need the headset to stay on me. Some of my first aerobatic flights, it still was a Bose headset. I'm going upside down, my headset is gone. So it's, and all of a sudden you have a lot of noise and you're upside down, and it's very tempting to start reaching for the headset, but you have to keep flying the plane, so you don't want this distraction. So chin straps is a must for any aerobatic routine, I think. These were not specifically from Bose Lightspeed. Actually, these were from one of the online pilot stores. I believe these were specifically made for David Clark. And that's why I actually had a little bit hard times stretching them over Lightspeed earmuff, because these are a little bit bigger than David Clark's, but they are universal more or less. So as long as you can put it around your headset earmuff, it works, and it's just a simple Velcro. The other options I have seen aerobatic pilots doing is like a full mesh or fabric cap that you're putting on your head, and you're putting a headset on it, and you're strapping the headset to that cap, to that toque, however, I don't know how to call it even, instead of the chin straps. That's another option. Or sometimes you would see aerobatic pilots wearing a full head helmet. So those are the options, but just loosely fitting headset is not an option for aerobatics. And then I just don't take it off. I like to fold my spiky side of the Velcro that it doesn't catch on my jacket when I'm not flying aerobatic, and the rest of the time I just let it dangle here. It doesn't bother me. It's just here, whatever. It's not getting in the way of anything. But yeah, that's specifically for aerobatics. If I'm flying it, I would have the chin strap. For the students, we would double check if they have a very tight fitting headset, and some of the cheaper headsets actually have less comfortable but tighter fit. They would not come off your head in upside down. So we'll check every time, because you don't want the student to be startled when they're doing aerobatics for the first time and the headset flies off, because I know how uncomfortable it can be.
Yeah, right. Well, to wrap it up, we will say the main differences will be the active noise cancelling.
So let's take a vote. Service, I think Lightspeed.
Yeah.
Fit on the head.
I will say Bose. Yeah.
Okay.
Bluetooth.
Bose.
Bose. Price, I believe, is really similar price. I don't
price,
think
they're about the same. What else did we talk about? The cable, and I think it's about Lightspeed.
Yeah, Lightspeed will be a better cable.
And better muffs. I think the quality there is better. Sound.
Sound, I haven't tried the Lightspeed, but both I'm really happy with it.
I would actually say they're probably similar, but both could be slightly better. Maybe because I don't have the greatest fit on the head in the Lightspeed.
Yeah, so at the end will be how it fits you.
Yeah,
Try
so
them both, and whichever fits better and is more comfortable, I will say that go for that one.
And those are the two higher end headsets, which I would definitely recommend if you are a professional pilot, commercial pilot, you're planning to fly a lot. That's a definite good investment, either of these two, because it also reduces your fatigue level. If you have less noise, you are less tired at the end of your flight. If you're a flight instructor and you're flying all day, you need to be as relaxed as possible, because you have already so many things going on. And or if you are a private pilot but you're planning to fly a lot, this is, I believe, the way to go. And it protects your hearing long term, because hearing is something that is harder to restore than eyesight. And it's once it starts leaving you, it's kind of a one-way street, and it can also affect your pilot medical. So good headset is the way to protect your hearing. On the other hand, if you only plan to do a very rare occasional flight, $1,000 or $1,500, sometimes some fancy models can go up to $2,000 Canadian. It can be pretty expensive, and it might not be worth the investment if you're only flying rarely and not that much. A good David Clark could be a good passive noise cancelling option, for example, and we'll go over a few of the basic models for occasional flyers or passengers in the sequence in the next part of this video. The non-noise cancelling can be also good for private pilots that have passengers that they take from time to time, that don't need to communicate with the tower but still need hearing protection anyway. So, or that was, again, a quick note, my experience. I first started with the basic David Clark when I started flight training, because I wasn't planning to be a professional pilot. And I kept that David Clark as my passenger headset or backup headset, so if my main one breaks, I still can go to my previous one. Or buying wise, you can always buy the new one from the brand, or you can look for a good condition used one, and you can often find, I find on Facebook Marketplace or similar, or pilots forums, people selling for various reasons. They're selling the plain sailing headsets with it, or upgrading to a newer model, and the previous ones they would sell at a very attractive price that you wouldn't buy the new one, and you still get a good quality headset with lots of life left in it. So those are good options for beginner pilots, or for your backup headset, passenger headsets, and so on. It doesn't have to be a new one. You can find good priced used and they are still good quality, and lots of lifetime left in them. Some of the models I have seen from 10-15 years ago in great shape and perfectly working.
Awesome.
See you in the air.
Bye-bye.
And hear you in the air. Make sure you make your position reports.